Treasury sale, the 30-year Treasury auction, and Art Cashin actually called it a bit of a car crash, and that the investors demanded higher yields, and we saw the market react to that. The 10-year going up to 156, maybe a little less pressure there now, which is helping equities recover a bit. Dan, you worried about the action in bonds, the inflation story, what the Fed's going to do, all of that?
Well, I'm worried about the inflation story. I'm not worried about this volatility that we're seeing in the 10-year yield. It's kind of banging around. If you look at that chart, I know that Mike Santoli's been taking a look at this. It's really making this kind of little triangle pattern here. There is tension building, and it's going to break one way or the other. I actually suspect it breaks lower. I think that first reaction to the Fed's taper announcement last week was the tell here. So fine, we have a hot CPI reading. Everyone expected that. That's suggesting that maybe the Fed is kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. That's why we have this bounce. But listen, we are right back to where we were when the Fed made that taper announcement just a few days ago. So I'm not particularly worried about the volatility. As it relates to stocks, yes, if bond yields were supposed to go up meaningfully and growth doesn't materialize, that's the worst possible scenario, in my opinion, near term for stocks, with the S&P up 23% and the Nasdaq up 20% on the year, very near all-time highs, with valuations getting extremely stretched.
Largest IPO of 2021 hitting public markets this afternoon. Rivian making its debut on the Nasdaq. It is currently trading above its IPO price of $78, but below its opening trade of $106.75. It's still a stellar day. The Amazon-backed EV maker has a valuation now equivalent to General Motors, greater than Ford at these levels. Rivian joins a slew of largely unprofitable EV makers to go public in recent years. In the prospectus here, Rivian said it will lose up to $1.28 billion in Q3. Do you think this is crazy, Dan, or is it a buy? Could it be the next Tesla?
I think it really is it says so much about the market that we're in the stock market and crypto markets, that you could be anointed at the opening today, $100 billion market cap, essentially pre-revenue. I mean, listen, if you think about what the total addressable market is for EVs, you could say, all right, well, maybe we just fast forward it a little bit. We got rid of those first 5 years as Tesla, as a public company, all the fits and the starts and all the, the palpitations of that. And that's what the market's saying. I don't blame the bankers, and I don't blame the company. This one is on investors. The first indication on price was somewhere around $50. So here it is, and this is weeks ago, I mean, when the S1 came out. So it's investors that are clamoring for this. And I think when we look back a few months from now or a few years from now, it'll be on investors. It's not going to be on the company's projections, which are actually pretty reasonable right now as far as deliveries.